The Brandons seemed like good people. Tim, age 34, was an auto mechanic for a body shop downtown, and Natalie, age 29, was a CNA at the local clinic. They lived in a nice two-story house just across the river, with a few acres of land separating them and the nearest neighbors. When I got to the house, they met me near the garage and went over a few simple instructions for my stay. There's some microwavable dishes in the pantry. Here's the code for the front door in case you get locked out. Everything seemed normal at first. Then I asked them where their twins, Joy and Julia, were, and they both got stone cold quiet. Finally, Nat found her voice again. Upstairs, in the room. You don't need to disturb them. Something about the way she said it seemed off. Are they already asleep? I asked. I knew the girls couldn't be older than 6 or 7, and it wasn't even past 5 when I got there. Why were they in their rooms now? Leave them alone, Tim ordered. His voice sounded authoritative and commanding. It bothered me more than his wife's nervousness. I just wanted to know what my duties were, if the children have already been cared for, I commented. Watch the house. Netflix is set up in the den. Keep a watch on the back stairs, and don't, under any circumstances, let them out of their room. Is that understood? Tim responded. This time, I could tell there was a hint of concern in his voice. I had never met them before, so of course, my stranger danger radar was a bit more on point than usual. What were they doing to their children? We'll return at 9:30. Keep yourself occupied until then, Natalie said. They refused to answer any other questions, and I was left in an empty house. The den was first, and I found a few photo albums on display over the fireplace, making me smile about how old-fashioned this couple was. Opening them up, however, changed the perspective. The images of their girls were ripped apart or cut up, as though the Brandons were ashamed of their offspring. Instantly, I decided to go upstairs and make sure the girls were all right, but as soon as I saw their door, I was stunned beyond words. There were at least 3 padlocks on it, along with a metallic bar that kept an airtight seal on the room. Seeing it made me feel immediately uncomfortable, and I thought about calling the cops. What if they were molesting their children? As I turned to go back downstairs, I heard a soft groan from the other side of the door. Please, we are so hungry, 2 soft little voices said. They were gently knocking on their wall, trying to get anyone's attention. That sealed the deal for me. I rushed to find the keys, anything that could possibly help those poor children escape. Then, I paused at the kitchen and looked at the numbers on the fridge. None of them seemed familiar to me as far as emergency services. So who had the parents put down as contacts? I pulled out my phone, took a snapshot of the numbers, trying to decide whether calling the cops was really the smart thing to do. Above me, I heard the girls pounding on the door. I didn't hesitate and immediately called 911. I told them the situation, and they promised to send 2 patrol officers over as soon as they could. Then, I went back upstairs to try and calm Joy and Julia down. It's going to be okay. 2 officers are coming, and they are going to get you out of there, I said soothingly. The girls were crying. They sounded so scared. I paced the living room, waiting for the cops to show up. When they did, they brought a few tools to break down the door. I stood to the side as they explained to the twins what they were going to do, and then I watched as the door splintered apart. Finally, the last bits of wood broke, and the door fell down to reveal a dark room beyond it. Had these girls ever even seen the light of day? The officers used their headgears to illuminate the room, which looked like a typical nursery, and slowly stepped inside to find the girls. I stayed back for a moment, not wanting to interfere with them doing their job. Suddenly, I heard one of the officers scream. It sounded like he stepped on a Lego or something. But then the scream got louder, and it was followed by gunshots. Something large hit the ground, and I heard his nails scrape against the carpet as he was dragged under the bed. The second officer was no different. In less than a few minutes, something inside the room grabbed him and broke every bone in his body. I watched as he collapsed to the floor like a rag doll. Then, from amidst the dim light their headgear provided, I saw 2 tiny frames step over the broken flesh kills, Joy and Julia. They had smiles on their face along with blood dripping from their mouth. Their teeth reminded me of sharks. Then they stepped towards me, eyes gleaming like they saw me as their next meal. I panicked. I ran to their parents' room and slammed their door closed. Soon, I heard those same gentle knocks on my door. "Please, come play with us," the girls said in unison. I closed my eyes shut, trying to calm down and wake myself from what I was sure had to be a living nightmare. Then I remembered the numbers on the fridge. I pulled my phone out and memorized them quickly, dialing as fast as my fingers would allow. Joy and Julia were already gnawing at the door. "Hello?" It was Natalie. "The children, they got out," I shouted into the phone. "The children, they got out," I shouted into the phone. "Why won't you play with us?" the girl sneered. The phone line went dead. I was sure their parents' door wouldn't hold up much longer. I think I might have said a prayer. Hell, I might have said a dozen. Suddenly, I heard a struggle outside. The children cried in anguish as their parents subdued them. Then, it was silent again. "You can come out," Natalie said. I opened the door with shaky palms. The parents were standing in the hall, covered in scrapes and scars, glaring at me with disappointment. From behind them, I heard the girls angrily slamming their bodies against the closet that Natalie was closely guarding. "We'll have to pay you for only half the night," Tim said as he pulled out his wallet. Wordlessly, I accepted the offer. "Will you be free Tuesday?" his wife asked. I listened to the scratching against the door and shook my head. "No, I don't think I will be."